Hello, my name is Madam Jennifer from Educare TZ. Welcome my lovely Form 2 students in a biology session, and we are currently proceeding with the solving of the Necta series for the year 2013. Welcome. Our today question is question number 7 for the year 2013, and the question stated that Roman A. Define each of the following terms. Define each of the following terms. A. Gaseous exchange. Roman 2. Respiration. And question number 7 for Roman B. Name the respiratory surface for each of the following organism. The first one is insect. Second one is mammals. Third one is fish. And the fourth one is spider. My lovely Form 2 students, before we answer the question, we have to be familiarize ourselves with the way this question has been constructed so that we can use that particular knowledge to answer or to attempt the question. This question, Roman A, has been derived from that topic of the gaseous exchange and respiration. So in order to tackle this question very nicely and giving the correct response, you are needed to have a deep understanding in this topic of the gaseous exchange and respiration. The question Roman B also require you to be aware on this concept of the gaseous exchange, especially on the respiratory organ. Knowing the respiratory organs of variety of the multicellular organism, we tend to have the specialized respiratory organ. So now let us see, or let us attempt our question. The question Roman C require you to give a reason for each of the following characteristics of respiratory surface. The first one is to give a reason why the respiratory surface have the thin wall. And the Roman 2 for question Roman C is to state why the respiratory organ have the large surface area. So this was all about the question number 7, which has been constructed from the topic of the gaseous exchange and respiration. It is available at our media, Educare Media. Just subscribe so as to get the full package in case kama bado hujasoma, so that you can have a detailed understanding. Lots swali limeweza kutoka katika hii concept ya gaseous exchange. Kesho you never know katika respiration, katika respiration au katika gaseous exchange in plants and so forth. So there is a variety of the knowledge there, so just subscribe so that you can widen up your understanding in case kama hujaifuatilia. So by starting our first question, for question number 7, Roman A, we require you to give the definition of the gaseous exchange and the respiration. By starting with the gaseous exchange au upumuaji, this refers to the movement of oxygen and the carbon dioxide across the respiratory surface. All this is exchange. Na tunapozungumzia exchange, meaning that kuna mabadilishano ya kitu. So this meaning that there is movement of the things, either because you exchange, there's something that has been replaced by another thing. That's why kuna kuwepo na exchange. Kwa kuna kuwepo na replacement. So the gaseous exchange, this is a movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide across the respiratory surface. Ambapo oxygen tends to enter into the lungs across this respiratory surface. Now carbon dioxide tends to across the respiratory surface to outside of the body. Or in other terms, the gaseous exchange can be defined as is a process through which respiratory gases are passed through the respiratory surface. And these respiratory gases are oxygen and carbon dioxide, where the oxygen are inhaled and the carbon dioxide are exhaled from as one of the byproduct of the respiration. During the respiration, the carbon dioxide has been released as the byproduct, which can be used by the plant for photosynthesis, and the inhalation, which involves the taking of the oxygen which has been released, are the byproduct of the oxygen. So you see on how the plant and organism, they tend to depend on each other. So, and another term we are needed to define is the term respiration. When talk on the respiration, this is a set of metabolic reaction or activity in which complex food substance is broken down step by step to release energy within the cell. So this is a set of metabolic reaction in which complex food substance is broken down so as to release energy, which can be used for variety of the activities of the body. And we have two kinds of the respiration. We have the aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration. This process, they occur both in this plant and animal. So, example, the aerobic respiration that involve the breaking down, or this involve the combustion reaction in which the glucose molecule, which has been produced by the process of photosynthesis, are being broken down by the use of oxygen to produce ATP, carbon dioxide, and water, and the byproduct of aerobic respiration. While the anaerobic respiration that involve the breaking down of this glucose which has been produced during the photosynthesis in the absence of oxygen. And this process do take place in plant and animal cell, and they tend to differ. In plants and the yeast cell, it tend to produce the alcohol, and this is known as the fermentation. While in animal, it tend to produce the lactic acid. So these are the end product of the respiration. The question Roman B, you are needed to state the respiratory organ of this multicellular organism. We wasn't talk on this multicellular organism, meaning these are the organisms which are made up of more than one cell, meaning that they are made up of millions of the cell. Here we have been given the list of this multicellular. Example, insect. The insect tend to use the tracheal system. Sijaandika hapa, lakini insect anatumia the tracheal system or the respiratory organ. Alafu mammals, all mammals, tunapozungumzia mammals kuna reptiles, kuna ndege pamoja na binadamu, wote wanatumia the lungs for the respiration. Alafu kuna fish. Since fish are adapted to the aquatic environment in water, they tend to use the gills for extracting the dissolved oxygen while they in the water. And the spider, this one of the class or member of the class Arachnid, in that phylum Protoctista, so they tend to use the book lung. This spider hawana damu, lakini wanakuwa na ile hemocell. Wenyewe hawana this hemoglobin, so they tend to have this book lung kwa ajili ya gaseous exchange respiration. But insect wenyewe wana tracheal system kwa ajili ya respiration. Kwa mfano kama grasshopper ambayo pia ni insect, anatumiaga spiracle. And the last question for question number 7, Roman C, tuliambiwa kwamba to state kwa nini the respiratory organ or respiratory surface wanakuwepo na thin wall na vile kwa nini wanakuwepo na large surface area. Ili swali limejengeka katika characteristics of the respiratory surface. Sema kwamba one of the characteristics of the respiratory surface inatakiwa iwe na thin wall. Kwa nini iwe na thin wall? Kitu kikiwa thin meaning that ile diffusion distance inakuwepo ni rahisi. So this is why the respiratory surface tend to have the thin wall. So the respiratory surface have the thin wall to allow the diffusion effect. So the diffusion of the gases iweze kutoka very very in a required rate. Na inakuwepo na large surface area kuweza maximize the rate of the extraction of the oxygen. So the respiratory surface have the large surface area to maximize the uptake of oxygen in minimal time. This was all about the question number 7 for the year 2013. In case of any misconception, don't hesitate to write into the comment section so that I can cross-check and make a follow-up for your concern. So, the another question now is question number 8 for the year 2013, and the question have 2 Romans. The question stated that the Roman A, what is meant by the term antigen of disease? What is meant by the term antigen of disease? Roman B, the question needs you to name the agent for each of the following disease. Just name the agent of each of the following disease. Make sure that you stay connected to the direction of the question, so as to make sure that you get all the marks. So la kwanza, just we needed to give the definition of agent of disease. Unaelewa nini unaposikia kitu kinaitwa agent of disease? Wakala wa ugonjwa. This is an agent. Or a carrier. Ni tofauti na vector. wana tofauti, like wanataka kufanana lakini they are different in some kind, kwa sababu vector yeye anakuwa ana carry, lakini agent yule ndiye ana msababishi wa magonjwa, lakini vector yeye anakuwa ni msafirishaji wa magonjwa. So the agent of disease, na Roman B inatakiwa uweze kuandika the agent, au tunapozungumzia agent au consecutive of the particular disease, msababishi wa huo ugonjwa ndio agent of a disease. Example hapa kuna common cold. Jina lingine la common cold ni upper respiratory tract infection. Ndio ni cholera, hapa ni dysentery. Kuna aina mbalimbali za dysentery tunaenda kuziangalia pamoja na their consecutive agents. Ya mwisho ni bilharzia ambayo ndio kichocho. Tunaangalia kwamba atasababishwa na kitu gani. Example ni this schistosomiasis species. So by starting with the first one, Roman A, you are needed to give the definition of the agent of disease. My lovely Form 2 students, this question, in order to have a deep understanding on where this question has been derived, it has been derived from the topic of the Form 1, in that topic of the health, immunity, and disease, where this question has been derived. So in order to tackle this, to attempt, you are needed to use the concept and knowledge in this particular topic of health, immunity, and disease. You are mostly welcome to subscribe it at media. In case kama bado hujaisoma, you are mostly welcome, so that you can be aware on the variety of the diseases, which are caused, their mode of transmission, their causes, their symptoms, their effect, and their preventive measures. Also, indeed, the topic of the health, immunity, and disease, you are going to see the concept of the immunity, factors affecting immunity, the different kind of the diseases, their mode of transmission, also the concept of the health on how to maintain the good health. So let us answer our question now by starting with Roman A, which needs to give the definition of the agent of disease. When we talk on the agent of disease, this means these are the pathogen or parasites or microorganism like bacteria, virus, fungi, or protozoa that to be seen by the naked eyes, causing infectious disease to plant and animal. So tutazungumzia the agent, anaweza akawa either ni parasite, anaweza akawa ni protozoa, anaweza akawa ni microorganism. Microorganism, these are the organisms which cannot be seen by the use of naked eyes. So this is an example, virus ni micro, the bacteria, these are the micro, protozoa. So they tend to cause the disease or infectious disease to plant and animal. So these are the agents of the disease. So their main effect is causing the infectious disease to a particular plant and animal species. So this is what is known as the agent of disease. And a second question, Roman B, you are needed to state the agent of disease for the following disease. The first one is common cold. Ukiangalia katika topic yetu ya health, immunity, and disease, nimeweza kuielezea in details the common cold. In other term, it is called the upper respiratory infection. So don't get confused. Ukisikia common cold ni sana yule mtu ambaye anamaanisha URTI au upper respiratory infection disease. So the common cold is also known as the upper respiratory tract infection, URTI. And most of these diseases are caused by virus. Kwa hivyo, the consecutive agent of this common cold disease ni virus. Kwa mpaka hapo kwa shajibu hapo kwa umemaliza, lakini I give you a detailed understanding on what is common cold, how is it caused, the effect pamoja na prevention. So the main consecutive agent ni virus. Kwa mtu ambaye alikuwa anajibu mpaka hapa tayari amemaliza. Example, that virus anaitwa ni respiratory syncytial virus. Respiratory syncytial virus. Kwa kifupi tunamuita ni RSV. Huyu hapa ndiye anapelekea the common cold disease. And however, some infections such as flu are caused by the allergies. Kuna baadhi ya magonjwa within this upper respiratory disease au common cold zinasababishwa na allergy. Either mtu amekuwa na allergy na vumbi, allergy na particular smell of something, and so forth. So this common cold, it is transmitted by contacting body fluid of sick person pamoja na air or airborne disease. So this is one of the airborne disease. So it is, the first one is by the droplet. So by contacting body fluid of a sick person, if you get a droplet from the sick person, you are in a greatest danger of being suffering from this particular common cold disease. Also, by it is transmitted by the airborne. So you one of the very dangerous disease. The risky factors is by staying into the crowded areas, also the low immunity. Causes ni pale mtu anapokuwepo na anapokaa katika mrundiko wa watu wengi, pamoja na kama ana kinga ndogo ya mwili inaweza kampelekea akaugua ugonjwa wa common cold. Vile vile causes ya hii common cold ni having allergy to pollen, dust and some kind of the smell like perfume. Tukua na allergy kwa baadhi ya vitu, kwa mfano kama pollen, vumbi pamoja na harufu fulani ya perfume. Another symptoms in this particular common cold or URTS is fever. Mtu anakuwa na homa, kichwa kinakuwa kinauma, anakuwa na kikohozi kikavu, anakuwa anachoka, tiredness, na vile vile difficulty in breathing or shortness of breath, na vile vile anakuwepo na running nose. Effect yake ni affect the upper respiratory tract, tunaita ni upper respiratory tract infection, na kwa ina tend to affect this upper respiratory tract ambayo inakuwa ina affect the whole process of the respiration. Precaution and control of this particular common cold disease ni kwamba frequently wash your hand thoroughly with the soap and the clean running water, because tumesema kwamba ina be transmitted by the use of this droplet or fluid contact, na vile vile by the use of this airborne. So also use clean and aniadi, tumia handkerchief ambao ni safi vile vile iliyopigwa pasi kwa ajili ya kuweza kukidhi this microorganism or virus. Na vile vile wear mask in the dusty place. Kama unapokuwa katika maeneo yenye vumbi au crowded area, make sure kwamba unatumia that mask au barakoa. Vile vile seek immediate medical treatment because difficulty in breathing inaweza kapelekea even death. The second one tulitakiwa kuweza kuandika the consecutive agent wa cholera, pindupindu. The cholera is caused by the bacteria ambayo inaitwa Vibrio cholerae. So hapa ndio consecutive agent wa cholera. So mpaka hapo uko unapata all marks. For the advantage ya wale ambao hajasoma topic yetu, I give you detailed understanding on what is cholera. So this cholera is caused by bacteria called the Vibrio cholerae. So consecutive agent yake yeye ni bacteria ambayo bacteria anaitwa ni Vibrio cholerae. And it is been transmitted through ingesting contaminated food and water. Kula vyakula ambavyo vimebi contaminated, vyakula vichafu ambavyo vimebi contaminated by this bacteria. So the risk factor is poor environmental sanitation and hygiene, also water scarcity pamoja na poor personal hygiene. Symptoms of the cholera is watery diarrhea like rice water, vomiting pamoja na sunken eyes. So hizi ni dalili za cholera. Mtu anakuwa anaharisha, the feces inakuwa ina rice, inakuwa na rangi ya rice water, na vile vile anakuwa anatapika na pamoja na sunken eyes. So because of this vomiting pamoja na diarrhea inapelekea mtu wa cholera kusuffer from the dehydration. Kwa hiyo wengi unakuta anakuwa anakosa nguvu na vile anakosa maji, kwa hivyo anakuwa anaongezwa maji. So vile kuna body weakness, kuna kuwepo na muscle cramp, misuli kubana, vile may lead to death if not treated early. Cholera can kill. It's one of the epidemic disease which tend to be widespread in a very short period of time and tend to affect a large number of people depending. This is because of the mode of the transmission, which is by ingesting contaminated food and water. And the main source is the poor sanitation hygiene. So the prevention or control of the cholera is by boiling or drinking water. Make sure that you drink the treated water or boiled water so as to kill this bacteria. Also cover the food so to prevent that vector. Kwa mfano nzi ambaye ni vector ambaye ana carry this bacteria, pale anapokuwa ameintua katika feces of the infected person with this Vibrio cholera, they tend to carry this Vibrio cholera to that and cover the food, na in case mtu ataweza kuingia kile chakula na atakuwa katika high risk of being infected this particular disease. Vile wash hands with soap and clean running water after using the toilet before eating. Make sure kwamba baada kutoka wani unanawa mikono yako na maji tiririka na sabuni, na kabla ya kula make sure kwamba unanawa. Kingine, use toilet properly. The toilet hygiene should be strictly followed. Vile pit lighting should be covered pamoja ili kuweza kuavoid wale nzi wale ambao wanakuwa na tutua katika this feces, pamoja na seek immediate medical treatment kwa sababu cholera also can kill. The third one, you are needed to set the consecutive agent of the dysentery. My lovely font student, hapa tujaweza kuambiwa either ni amoebic dysentery, ni ni amoebic au ni bacillus dysentery, hatujaambiwa. So because tumeambiwa dysentery in general, there are variety form of the dysentery. Kuna this amoebic dysentery ambayo anasababishwa na this Salmonella typhi ambayo anapelekea ugonjwa wa typhoid. So haijabi classified. So I would like to pass you through a variety of the dysentery so that you can choose anyone is correctly. So the dysentery, once you talk on the dysentery, this is a inflammatory condition of the intestine that results in the severe diarrhea with the presence of the blood and mucus in the feces. Kwa hiyo hapa inflammation inatokea katika small intestine inayopelekea severe diarrhea, mtu anakuwa anaharisha, na katika feces kuna kuwepo na damu pamoja na mucus. So the consecutive agent of dysentery can vary depending on the type of dysentery as follows. Kuna bacterial dysentery, hapo ni dysentery au muharo ambao unasababishwa na bacteria. So and the common cause is infection with bacteria. Kwa mfano kama kuna Shigella species yanapelekea vile dysentery. Example, kuna Shigella flexneri, kuna Shigella sonei, kuna Shigella boydii, and other bacterial causes include certain strain of Escherichia coli na Salmonella typhi. So this Escherichia coli pamoja na Salmonella vile wanaweza pelekea the dysentery. Kwa mtu ambaye atajibu Escherichia coli, Salmonella typhi au this Shigella species anakuwa ipo correct. Na vile another form of dysentery ni amoebic dysentery, which is caused by the parasites called Entamoeba histolytic ambayo anapelekea ugonjwa wa amoeba. So these are the consecutive agents. Kuna this Entamoeba histolytic, kuna Salmonella typhi, kuna Escherichia coli pamoja na Shigella species. So all are the answers, so you can use them kwa sababu hawajabi classified. And the last one is bilharzia. Bilharzia hiki ni kichocho. Kichocho kinabi transmitted pale kwa wale ambao wanaogelea madimbwi. Dimbwi unakuta mtu ana kichocho, kakojua mule, kajisaidia mule, unaenda kaogelea pale. This organism or this bed wana tend to penetrate. Hamna haja kuingia kwa mfano katika mdomo. They tend to penetrate katika this office, hata katika ngozi they tend to penetrate. Na carrier wake au vector wake waga ni snail. So the bilharzia is caused by the Schistosoma species and is spread by the aquatic snail. Kwa the consecutive agent or disease of the bilharzia ni Schistosoma species na vector wake ni aquatic snail. Kwa hiyo jibu letu hapa ni Schistosoma species, hapa ndio consecutive agent wa bilharzia. Na pale mtu anapokuwa anatumia maji ambayo au anaogelea sehemu ambayo tayari kuna infection with this dirty water. So the risk factor is by occupational factor like fishermen pamoja na paddy farmers, ambapo katika janga kubwa ni wale wavuvi pamoja na wale wanaolima kwa mfano kama mipunga, wanakuwa katika risk factor ya kugua ugonjwa wa kichocho. So up to now my lovely form 2 students, that's mark the end of an enjoyable session. Please stay tuned to Educare Media for following other coming session for further learning. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your careful attention. Have a nice moment.